curious, just going back to your time playing for New England, how valuable was that time in your coaching journey? Specifically, how valuable was it being there kind of on the sidelines for the Super Bowl?
Incredibly valuable. I learned probably more football in that short time than at any other, maybe stop along the way, just when it comes to coaching and pertaining to coaching and the work that's put in and the game planning and the preparation day in, day out. I really got to see behind the scenes there, and it was phenomenal. I mean, around all those coaches that went on to be head coaches and won a bunch of Super Bowls, and obviously getting to watch that Super Bowl was phenomenal.
Coach, can you give us an update on Kyler and his shoulder?
Yeah, he's working through it. We'll see how he feels tomorrow when we get out on the grass and see where we're at practice-wise. If we need to make any adjustments or if he can cut it loose.
Hey, Cliff, going back to your Patriots days. So what was the situation? You got hurt, right? And then you got put on IR, and Bill essentially made you a QC. And then what kind of stuff did you work on, and who'd you work with?
Yeah, on the offensive side of the ball, really. Any sort of the practice prep, game prep type stuff, which allowed me to learn a lot. I mean, it was more of a plan as a young backup quarterback to learn the ins and outs of the offense and work with Charlie Weiss and Josh McDaniels, Brian Dable. I mean, there are a bunch of really, really good offensive coaches that I was fortunate enough to be around, and did a little bit of everything, but it taught me how to break down games and game plan and all stuff that I still use today.
Next up, please, Kyle, Bob, and Catherine.
Cliff, Coach Belichick said that you sought his advice through the years. I'm wondering if there was maybe a first time when you went to him and asked him something, and did you feel like your relationship was already good where it was an easy call, or did you still wonder like, hey, this is one of the best coaches of all time. Can I ask him for this type of advice? Am I overstepping here?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a legend, and there's definitely an intimidation factor there, even when you're done playing, just because of all he's accomplished and what he's about. But he's been amazing to me over the years, and even when I got fired there at Texas Tech, he reached out and allowed me to come up there when I was at Texas Tech and sit in on meetings and go to practices, and can't thank him enough for all he's done for me. So just to be on the same field with him in this capacity will be a huge honor, and like I said before, just very grateful for the opportunity.
Cliff, I think you told us at the Combine a year ago that coaching experience as a rookie was some of the hardest hours, and you didn't 100% were sure you never wanted to do it. What changed your mind, and where's the Super Bowl ring? How often do you wear it?
Yeah, I guess what changed my mind is the NFL career didn't go as swimmingly as I had hoped. And the Super Bowl ring, it would be brought out on recruiting visits. That was about it there at Texas Tech. That was something I tried to seal the deal with. It didn't work as much as I would have liked, but I definitely tried with the ring.
Cliff, I know Bill is a little different in person with people he knows than he would be in what we see in press conferences, but how long were your conversations with him usually? Is he still kind of as tight-lipped when you get to know him a bit better? What was that like?
Yeah, I think he's a guy that when you get to know the personality of Bill, and not Coach Belichick, if you will, he's funny, he's very sharp, he wants to help people develop as coaches and players, and he wants people to further develop in their careers post-football, and you definitely see that come across when you actually get him out of the office and get to know him a little bit.
Next we'll go Darren, Josh, and Craig.
Hey, Cliff, with the signing of Pecco, is he a guy that you guys just need for depth? Are you hoping that he has a bigger role than that? Will he need a bigger role? And where do guys like Lawrence and maybe Zach Allen stand going into this week?
We're excited about the signing. First and foremost, VJ has some history there. I've only met him today, but have heard great things about his attitude, his energy, and he's a guy who's played at a high level in this league for a long time. So we're hopeful. We'll see how he looks this week and see kind of what he can handle, and we're hopeful that he can contribute at some point moving forward.
Hey, Cliff, what was it like being in that quarterback room with Tom, Rohan, and David? And kind of where were you on the totem pole in that? Kind of what was your role in that room?
I was last. So I would get the coffee and the Dunkin' Donuts and all of those things. But just anytime you could be around Tom Brady and watch, the excellence that he strives for each and every day, the preparation, the way he takes care of his body, the way he treats people. I mean, there was so much to learn from there. And then, to work with Charlie Weiss and to work with Josh McDaniels in that room too, just two phenomenal offensive minds. Like I said, at the time, didn't realize what a blessing it would be moving forward, going into coaching and things of that nature. But you really get your PhD up there when you are involved in the coaching side of it at all.
Coach, what do you have to do this week to attack that Patriot defense?
From an offensive perspective, I think, Bill is going to do a tremendous job of kind of taking away what you do well. And I think a lot of the focus is going to be on us, just eliminating those negative plays. If we have the same number of negative plays and penalties as we did last week, we won't have a lot of success up there, and our guys know that. So a lot of the focus is on us improving in those areas and making sure we're playing downhill more this week.
We'll wrap it up with four more: Bob and Catherine, Josh and Howard.
Did you ever think you would ever coach against Bill? And going into this, you immediately don't try to match wits or think too much about what he's going to do in anticipation of it, or is that part of the gig?
Yeah, I never expected to be coaching against him, but you kind of said it. I think if you just start to analyze what he knows and what I know, we'd be in trouble. He's forgotten more football than I'll ever even try to comprehend. He's probably the one person in the NFL that could coach every position at an elite level, and that's not an exaggeration. That's how much he knows about the game. And so, like I said, I'm honored to share the field with him, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge to go up there and try and get a win.
Hey, Cliff, with the offensive line, a lot of players have said that they're not getting the amount of credit they should be. Is that something that ever happens with an O-line, of them getting the proper amount of recognition? And what do they need to do after the Seattle game when Kyler was, under pressure a little more?
Yeah, they usually are the unsung group, but everybody knows that they're kind of the heart and soul. And I've been very proud of our group and the evolution from year one to year two, the job Coach Cooler's done, the camaraderie in that group. They really are upbeat and bring a lot of good energy to this building. You got to give Seattle credit. Last Thursday, I thought they played extremely hard, had a good plan and rushed the passer and did a good job of affecting us. And, so I think it was more what they were doing than us having some major letdown.
And Cliff, Tom wasn't yet Tom, right? He had won 2 Super Bowls by the time you left there. What did you learn about him at that point in his career that you kind of took forward with you?
Yeah, I mean, he was still the man. There's no doubt. I mean, everybody knew who he was, and he was a superstar. But to me, just the consistency with which he operated each and every day, every part of his life was dedicated to being the best quarterback in the history of the game. He already knew it then, where it was heading, and the diet was already there. And this is before people were doing all those things. The diet and the work ethic and the film study and the post-practice work with the receivers. I mean, it was insane. I'd never seen anything like it. And, just to watch how it's all played out now, there was really no doubt in his mind where it was heading. And so to be a spectator from afar and see where he took it, it's been a lot of fun to watch.
Coach, you mentioned Tom and being in that room. Did it ever enter your mind that you were only selected 2 picks after him overall in the draft?
Yeah. I had heard that a few times. They were talking about could lightning strike twice, and it did not, in fact, happen. But, just being around those guys, the Patriots, their organization, their culture, it's a huge honor for me. It has been